Good afternoon, this is K. Anand, DL in Chemistry, TDWRDC, Karimnagar. Today, we discuss about crystal field theory. In coordination complexes, different types of theories are introduced to explain the behavior of the complexes. In earlier semester, you studied about the Wegener's theory and Sedgwick theory and valency bond theory. That theories are explained some features of the complexes. Then the earlier theory, valency bond theory, is explained the geometries of the complexes according to the hybridization concept. But so many failures are present in the previous theories. To explain the stability of the complexes, to explain the color properties of the complexes, but new theory is introduced by the two scientists, that is the Bethe and Van Wyk. These two scientists are introduced a new theory to explain the magnetic nature, magnetic moment calculations, and the color properties of the complexes, and the stabilities of the complexes. The theory is called crystal field theory. According to this crystal field theory, in between the metal atom and the ligand, the bond is present. This bond is having ionic character. Generally, metal atoms are readily loses the electrons and to form the cations. In the complex formation, the ligands are approaches to the metal atom. Metal d orbitals and metal orbital electrons are eliminated to form the cations. Next one is the ligand. Different types of ligands are present, negative ligands and neutral ligands. The minimum quality of the ligand is must be to donate the lone pair of electron. Excess of electrons are present. That excess of electrons are called more electron density species. In between the cation and more electron density species, the bond is present. That bond is having the ionic character. And they are proposed some postulates to explain the crystal field theory. Three important postulates are proposed. The first one is the bond is present in between the metal atom and ligand is ionic bond formation is possible. That ionic bond formation is possible in between the positive metal atom and the negative ligand. This is the negative ligand. That bond is ion and ion interactions. Due to the presence of ion and ion interactions, cation and anion interactions, the ionic bond formation is possible. So what about the neutral ligand? In between the positive metal atom and neutral ligand, then the ion and dipole interactions are present. Ion and dipole interactions. Cation means metal ion is the cation and readily loses the electrons and to form the cation. And if your ligands are either the negative ligands are present or neutral ligands are present, both are excess of electron density species. In between the cation and the anion, some electrostatic attractions are generated. That bond is called pure ionic bond. That interactions are called ion-ion interactions. Next one is in between the cation and neutral ligand. Your neutral ligand is having excess of electrons and the second type of interactions are present. That is the ion-dipole interactions. This is the first postulate. Ionic bond formation is present in between your metal atom and the ligand, and the ionic bond formation is possible by the cation and anion is formed by ion-ion interactions. interactions are present, that is ion dipole interactions. This is the first postulate only. Second one is your ligands are more electron density species. Excess of electrons are present. That excess of electrons are donated to your metal atom. For that reason, your ligands are called point charges. Excess of electron density is present only. That excess of electron density is donated. To donating the excess of electrons to the metal atom, for that reason, the ligands are called point charges. Third postulate is very important one only. Metal atom is containing the d orbitals. That d orbitals are having same energy. That d orbitals are called degenerated orbitals. The metal atom is containing 5 d orbitals. That 5 d orbitals are called degenerated orbitals. Degenerated means same energy is present. Degenerated d orbitals. Then all the d orbitals are having same amount of the energy. Degenerated orbitals. Degenerated. Then if the ligands are approaches to the metal atom, metal d orbitals are losses their degeneracy and they are involved in the splitting. That is called crystal field splitting. So crystal, what is the crystal field? Around the metal atom, if the ligands are approaches to the metal atom, around the metal atom, some magnetic movement is generated. That is called crystal field. The generated magnetic field is called crystal field. Reason is your ligands are having excess of electron density. So excess of electrons are enters to the cation side. Some magnetic movement is generated. That is called crystal field. And then your metal d orbital electrons are the degenerated orbital electrons. And once the ligands are approaches to the metal atom, your metal d orbitals are losses their degeneracy. That is called crystal field splitting. And losses their degeneracy and they are involved in the splitting. All 5 orbitals are having same energy. The same energetic orbitals are involved in the splitting. That is called crystal field splitting. Based on these 3 postulates, to explain the crystal field splitting of the metal complexes. Crystal field splitting of the metal complexes. And this CFT is useful to explain the geometry of the d orbitals and to explain the color property of the complexes and to explain the stability of the complexes. D orbital lobes are the 5 d orbital lobes are present and all these 5 d orbital lobes are degenerated orbital. 5 lobes are present and double dumbbell shape. And that 5 lobes is first d orbital lobe is dxy orbital. The orbital lobe is present in between the axis and in between the x and y axis. And second one is the dyz orbital. Third one is the dxz orbital. Dxy orbital, dyz orbital, dxz orbital. These 3 orbital lobes are present in between the axis. And fourth orbital is dx square y square orbital lobe and fifth orbital lobe is dz square. These 3 orbitals are same type of orbitals. Enduk are same type of why the orbital lobes are same type? The orbital lobes are present in between the axis. dx square y square and dz square orbital lobes are same type of orbitals. That means that orbital lobes are present along the axis. This is the important one. In between the axis, the orbital lobes are present. The orbital lobes is 3 orbital lobes, that is dxy, dyz and dxz. These orbital lobes are called T2G orbitals, triply degenerated orbitals. D 5 d orbital lobes are present. Out of 5, 3 orbital lobes are present in between the axis. That orbital lobes are called triply degenerated orbitals or T2G orbitals. That orbitals is dxy, dyz and dxz. Next, two orbitals are dx square, y square and dz square. These two orbital lobes are present along the axis and that orbitals are called EG orbitals. Then, once the geometries of these orbital lobes wants to observe, first this is the three Cartesian planes. All these three planes are present on perpendicular direction, x-axis, y-axis and z-axis and A. So dxy orbital lobe is present. The orbital lobe is present in between x and y axis. This is the dxy orbital lobe. Next, this is the another orbital lobe on the x axis, z axis and y axis. This is the next orbital lobe on the dyz orbital lobe. In between y and z orbitals, in between y and z axis, the orbital lobes are arranged as a double dumbbell shape. So in between the axis and in between the y and z orbital, the orbital lobes are arranged. Next one is the dxz orbital and this is the dxz orbital x-axis and this is the y-axis and the z-axis, and in between the x-axis and the y-axis the orbital lobes are present. This is the dxz. These three orbital lobes are called T2G orbitals. Next one is the dx square and y square orbital lobe and x-axis, z-axis and y-axis. And along the axis, the orbital lobe is present. That is called dx square, y square. No. Along the x-axis, orbital lobe is present, and along the y-axis, orbital lobe is present. Next, last one is the dz square orbital, and x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. This is the dz square orbital. These are the 5 d orbital lobes shapes and shapes of 5d orbital lobes. dxy orbital, dyz orbital, dxz orbital, and this is a dx square, y square and dz square orbital. 5d orbital lobes. First three orbital lobes are present in between the axis, and next these two orbital lobes are present in between the axis. These three orbitals are called T2G orbitals. Triply degenerated orbitals. That means that three orbital lobes are present. Same means in between the axis the orbital lobes are present. And these two orbital lobes are called EG orbitals. These two orbital lobes are present along the axis, and these two orbitals are called EG orbitals. Now, first we explain the crystal field splitting in octahedral complex, that is the coordination number 6 containing the complex. Crystal field splitting in octahedral complex. Crystal field splitting in the octahedral complex. And the example for the octahedral complex is, this is the octahedral complex, and M is the metal atom and L is the ligand, and octahedral complex coordination number is 6. Hexacoordinated complex geometry is octahedral geometry. It will be used as to the octahedral geometry. ML6. Hexacoordinated complex and two types of hybridizations are possible: sp3d2 or d2sp3, whatever it may be. Example for this complex is any octahedral geometrical complex is to take it. In case of the octahedral complex, this is the octahedral geometry, and around the metal atom 6 ligands are present in this model. This is the axial ligands, and next one ligand is present here, one ligand is present here, and this is the octahedral geometry. 4 ligands are present axial position and 2 ligands are present equatorial position, and this axis is called z-axis, and this axis of the ligands is called y-axis, and this axis is called x-axis. 3 Cartesian planes are present. In the 3 Cartesian planes, your 6 ligands are arranged in your octahedral complex. Out of 6 ligands, 2 ligands are present on the z-axis direction and 2 ligands are present on the x-axis direction, and 2 ligands are situated on the y-axis. Total 3 Cartesian planes are present. In each Cartesian plane on opposite direction 2 ligands are present. That geometry is called octahedral geometry. So in case of this octahedral geometrical complexes, we study the crystal field splitting. How the crystal field splitting is possible in your octahedral complexes. 3 important points are present to explain the crystal field splitting in octahedral complexes. The 3 important points is, the first point is, in case of the octahedral complexes, 6 ligands are approaches to the metal atom along the axis. Ligands are approaches to the metal atom at which direction? Along the axis. Only 2 possibilities are present. First possibility is either along the axis the ligands are approaches to the metal atom, or in between the axis the ligands are approaches to the metal atom. Only these 2 possibilities are present in your octahedral complex. Only along the axis the ligands are approaches to the metal atom. If the ligands are approaches to the metal atom along the axis, for that situation the orbitals are present, orbital lobes are present along the axis. That orbital lobes are EG orbital lobes. In between these EG orbital lobes and incoming ligands, some repulsions are generated. Due to the repulsions, these EG orbitals are split into the maximum energy. The second type of orbitals are T2G orbitals. These T2G orbital lobes are present in between the axis. For that reason, your T2G orbitals and incoming ligand less repulsions are present. For that reason, they are split into lower energy. So this is the second point only. First point only, in case of the octahedral complexes, the 6 ligands are approaches to the metal atom along the axis. Out of 6 ligands, 2 ligands are approaches to the x-axis direction, 2 ligands are approaches to the y-axis direction, 2 ligands are approaches to the z-axis direction. Total 6 ligands are present. The 6 ligands are approaches to the metal atom along the axis. Now, next, for that reason, your d orbital lobes are situated along the axis and in between the axis and then if the ligands are approaching the metal atom along the axis, at the situation in between the ligands and the orbital lobes are present along the axis, that orbital lobes are the EG orbitals. In between the incoming ligands and EG orbitals, some repulsions are generated. Due to the repulsions, your EG orbitals are split into maximum energy. Sir, what about the T2G orbital? Your T2G orbital lobes are present in between the axis. Ligands are approaches to the axis only, and these orbital lobes are present in between the axis. So less repulsions are generated. Due to the presence of the less repulsions, your T2G orbitals are split into lower energy. Some energy difference is must be observed in between your split orbitals. That energy difference is called crystal field stabilization energy. It is denoted by the delta. Actually, your d orbitals are the degenerated orbitals and the same energetic orbitals. The same energetic orbitals are involved in the splitting. Higher energetic orbitals are the EG orbitals, lower energetic orbitals are the T2G orbitals and so energy difference is present. Higher energy and lower energy, split into higher energy, split into lower energy, 0 to higher energy, 0 to lower energy. Some energy difference is present and the energy difference is called crystal field stabilization energy. It is denoted by the And the units for your crystal field stabilization energy is called dq units and delta or dq. Crystal field stabilization energy is denoted by the symbol delta only, and that is called the energy difference in between the splitted orbitals. Now I will explain the crystal field splitting only. Before the ligands are approaches to the metal atom, metal d orbitals are present in the ground state. This is the ground state. Ground state degenerate d orbitals. Ground state degenerated d orbitals. Degeneracy is present and all orbitals are having same energy. Next, it will be to write the excited state. Always in the excited state the splitting is possible, and then it will be absorbed some amount of energy and it gives rise to excited state. In the excited state also your d orbitals are the degenerated. Once the ligands are approaches to the metal atom, at that situation they loses their degeneracy. If the ligands are approaches to the metal atom, they loses their degeneracy and they are involved in the splitting. Then in octahedral complexes, higher energetic orbitals are called Eg orbitals, and this orbital lobe is dx square y square and dz square and lower energetic orbital lobes are the T2g orbitals, dxy orbital, dyz orbital and dxz orbital. This is the degeneration. So how much less energy is deviated by your T2g orbital? This is the T2g orbital, and the energy difference is present in between T2g and Eg is called crystal field stabilization energy in octahedral complexes, that is called delta O. So how much energy is less? Your T2g orbitals and minus 0.6 into delta O. This amount of minus 0.4 into delta O. This amount of less energy is splitted by your T2g orbitals. So how much energy is deviated by your Eg orbitals means 0.6 into delta O. This is the higher energy. How much excess of energy is deviated by your Eg orbitals means 0.6 into delta O. How much amount of energy is deviated by your T2g orbitals means minus 0.4 delta O. Sir, why the T2g orbitals are having lower energy or they are split into lower energy? Reason is less repulsions are present in between your metal, in between your ligand and the d orbitals. Why the less repulsions are present? Then these orbital lobes are present in between the axes. These orbital lobes are present in between the axes. For that reason, these orbitals are split into lower energy. Why these orbitals are split into maximum energy? These orbital lobes are present in between the along the axis. In your octahedral complexes, the ligands are approaches to the metal atom along the axis. For that reason, your Eg orbitals are split into maximum energy. So some energy difference is present at it. This is the T2g orbital and the Eg orbital. In between the T2g and the Eg, the energy difference is present, and the energy difference is called crystal field stabilization energy. It will be calculated by one formula, that is CFSE is equals to minus 0.4 into number of electrons present in T2g orbital plus 0.6 into number of electrons present in Eg orbital. This is the equation is useful to calculate the crystal field stabilization energy. In metal complexes, metal atoms are having d orbital electrons and so that d orbital electrons are must be deviated. The d orbital electrons are must be present the d orbital electrons are enters to your fitted orbitals and after the electrons are enters to your splitted orbitals, you will be calculate the crystal field stabilization energy. The crystal field stabilization energy is calculated by this formula. So 3 points are useful to explain the crystal field splitting in octahedral complex. And the first point in octahedral complexes, ligands are approaches to the metal atom along the axis. Due to this reason, some repulsions are generated in between the incoming ligands and the d orbital lobes are present along the axis, that orbitals are the Eg orbitals. Due to this repulsion, they are fitted into maximum energy. Next one is your T2G orbitals are fitted into lower energy, and the reason is this T2G orbital lobes are present in between the axis, and for that reason less repulsions are absorbed in between your orbital lobes and the incoming ligands. This is the second point. And third point is after the crystal field splitting, the energy difference is must be absorbed in between the splitted orbitals. That energy difference is called crystal field stabilization energy. The crystal field stabilization energy is calculated by one formula, minus 0.4 into number of electrons present in T2G orbital plus 0.6 into number of electrons present in Eg orbital. Now we calculate the crystal field stabilization energies in octahedral complexes. In each configuration and in each d electron configuration, we calculate the crystal field stabilization energy. So crystal field stabilization energy delta O in octahedral complexes is calculated by this formula, and minus 0.4 into number of electrons present in T2G orbital plus 0.6 into number of electrons present in Eg orbital. This is the principle is used to calculate the crystal field stabilization energy. Then we will be calculate each configuration. First D1 configuration, and in case of the d orbital, only one electron is present, and this is the D1 configuration. One electron is present in the d orbital. Then the crystal field splitting is possible, and this is the crystal field splitting T2G orbital and Eg orbital, and so this is the T2G orbital and Eg orbital. So after the splitting, the d orbital electron is enters to T2G orbital, and at lower energetic orbital the electrons are first enters. Both are the d orbitals, and T2G orbital is also d orbital, Eg orbital is also d orbital. But according to the Hund's rule, the electrons are enters to the lower energetic orbital. Next, according to Hund's rule, first half field configuration is completed, then the pairing is possible, and this is the Hund's rule electronic configuration. Auber principle em cheptundandi? According to the Auber principle, lower energetic orbitals, if same principle quantum number is present, first the electron is enters to lower energetic orbital. T2G and Eg, which is the lower energetic orbital? T2G is the lower energetic. T2G is the lower energetic orbital. T2G is the lower energetic orbital. So the electron is enters to the T2G orbital. Then the one electron is enters to the T2G orbital, and the configuration is the crystal field stabilization energy is equals to minus 0.4. Minus 0.4 into number of electrons present in T2G orbital. How many electrons are present? One electron is present into 1 plus 0.6 into 0. So 0.6 into electron is present in each orbital. There is no more electron, so the crystal field stabilization energy is minus 0.4 into delta O. Next, to take the D2 configuration. In D2 configuration, in the d orbital, 2 electrons are present, and this is the D2 configuration. and it will be involved in the crystal field splitting and the Eg orbital, and this is the T2g orbital. So in T2g orbital both electrons are entered to the T2g orbital and so the crystal field stabilization energy is equal to minus 0.4 into 2 plus 0.6 into 1, which is equal to minus 0.8 into delta O. If D1 configuration or D2 configuration, if strong field ligand are present or weak field ligand, next concept is strong field and weak field ligand concept and at any ligand is present, then the electron is first enters to the T2g orbital and the lower energy orbital, then single electron is present and the crystal field stabilization energy is equal to minus 0.4 into delta O. Next one is in D2 configuration, two electrons are present and the two electrons are enters to your T2g orbital, then the crystal field stabilization energy is equal to minus 0.8 into delta O. Next, D3 configuration is to taken. Next configuration is the D3 configuration. So this is the 5 d orbitals and the so D3 configuration, 3 orbitals, 3 electrons are present in third configuration. They are involved in the splitting and this is the splitting. The 3 electrons are enters to your T2g orbital and in your Eg orbital there is no more electron. So crystal field stabilization energy CFSE is equals to minus 0.4 into 3 plus 0.6 into 0 on the which is equals to minus 1.2 into delta O. Next, D4 configuration. The fourth configuration is the D4 configuration and so in D4 configuration the crystal field stabilization energy calculation what difference is present and so this is the splitted d orbitals and T2g orbital and Eg orbital. For example, D4 configuration with a strong field ligand. The ligand is the strong field ligand. At the situation, due to the presence of the ligand effect, the ligand is the strong field ligand. Due to the presence of the strong field ligand, the 4 electrons are enters to your T2g orbital. Actually, according to the Hund's rule, half-field configuration is completed. The pairing is possible. Which is the half-field configuration? Out of 4, 3 electrons are enters to T2g orbital. 4th electron is enters to Eg orbital. And actually, this is the Hund's rule electronic configuration. But due to the presence of the ligand effect, strong field ligand, instead of the Hund's electronic configuration, the electrons are enters to the T2g orbitals instead of Eg orbital. Actually, the 4th electron is enters to Eg orbital. This is the expected one, Hund's rule configuration. But instead of the electron is enters to Eg orbital, it will be enters to the T2g orbital. Then the crystal field stabilization energy CFSE is equal to minus 0.4 into 4 plus 0.6 into 0 only, which is equal to minus 1.6 delta O. Still, in this case also, the no electrons are enters to your Eg orbital. Then, if the ligand is the weak field ligand, at that situation, this is the electron distribution and the 3 electrons are enters to your T2g orbital. Then the 4th electron is enters to your Eg orbital. This is the weak field ligand. If the weak field ligand is present in the complex, the 4 d orbital electrons are enters to the d orbital. This is the electronic distribution D4 configuration. It's 3 electrons are enters to T2g orbital. Half filled, your T2g is complete. Your T2g is filled. Then the 4th electron is enters to Eg orbital. The 4th electron is enters to Eg orbital. Now the crystal field stabilization energy is minus 0.4 into 3 plus 0.6 into 1 and minus 1.2 plus 0.6, which is equal to minus 0.6 into delta O. చూడమ్మా, in D1 configuration and D2 configuration and D3 configuration, in these 3 configurations, either the strong field ligand are present present or weak field ligand is present, there is no problem. That 3 electrons are enters to your P2G orbital, there is no more ligand effect and then if D1 configuration strong field or weak field, the single electron is enters to T2G orbital. Reason is T2G is lower energetic orbital. D2 configuration is present in the complex metal atom, then 2 electrons also enters to your T2G orbital. Reason is then the vacancy for the T2G orbital is 3 electrons are enters. If D3 configuration is present, in that situation also 3 orbital lobes are present. In that 3 orbital lobes, the 3 electrons are enters, either the strong field or weak field. The first 3 configurations, D1 configuration, D2 configuration and D3 configuration. In these 3 configurations, there is no more deviation. Any type of ligand is present, the crystal field stabilization energy is same. But the difference is observed if D4 configuration, 2 types of crystal field stabilization energies are observed. If 2 types of ligands, same metal atom with D4 configuration, strong field ligand is present, maximum crystal field stabilization energy is present and weak field ligand is present, minimum crystal field stabilization energy is present. Reason ఏంటంటే ligand effect అండి, ligand effect నెక్స్ట్ చెప్తాం, strong field and weak field ligands లో. Next D5 configuration is to taken. Next configuration is the D5 configuration. 5 d orbital lobes are present and these 5 d orbital lobes are having 5 electrons. The configuration is D5 configuration. This is the D5 configuration and 5 electrons are present in the d orbital. The ligand is the strong field ligand. Strong field ligand. So the d orbital splitting and this is the d orbital splitting. So strong field ligand is present and 1 electron, second electron, third electron. Actually, fourth electron is enters to Eg, but the ligand is the strong field and fourth electron is enters to T2G and fifth electron is also enters to T2G. Crystal field stabilization energy is equals to minus 0.4 into 5 electrons are present in T2G orbital and 0.6 into 1 which is equal to minus 2.20 delta O. Then the ligand is the weak field ligand. The ligand is the weak field ligand. The d orbital electrons are enters to the splitted orbitals according to the Husserl. The first 3 electrons are enters to T2G orbital, fourth electron and fifth electron is enters to the T2G orbital and also field configuration is completed. Then the crystal field stabilization energy is equals to minus 0.4 into 3 plus 0.6 into 2 and minus 1.2 which is equal to 0 delta O. చూడండి minus 0.4 into 3 electrons present in T2G orbital plus 0.6 into 2 electrons are present in Eg orbital and so 4 into 3 is equal to 12 and 6 into 2 is equal to 12, then which is equal to 0. D5 configuration is D5 configuration, weak field ligand, then the 0 crystal field stabilization energy. Next configuration is the D6 configuration and so 6 electrons are present in your d orbital. This is the 6 electrons and then first left hand side strong field ligand is present and so the 6 electrons are enters to your T2G orbital and crystal field stabilization energy is equal to minus 0.4 into 6 plus 0.6 into 0 maximum crystal field stabilization energy and next right hand side the ligand is the weak field ligand and 6 electrons and 3 electrons, fourth one, fifth one and the sixth electron is involved in the pairing and so minus 0.4 into 4 plus 0.6 into 2 and which is equal to minus 1.4 plus 1.2 and minus 0.4 delta 4. This is the D6 configuration. Similarly, you will be calculate the D7 and the D8 configurations also, that strong field and the weak field to get the crystal field stabilization energies. Next configuration is the D7 configuration అండి. In D7 configuration direct write the splitted orbitals అండి. 1 2 3 and 4 5 6 అండి. And seventh electron is enters to Eg orbital. So minus 0.4 into 6 plus 0.6 into 1 అండి. Minus 2.4 plus 0.6 minus 1.8 delta O. Next weak field ligand అండి. In weak field ligand case 1 2 and 3 fourth electron fifth electron అండి. Sixth electron is pairing and seventh electron is pairing, and crystal field stabilization energy is, this is the crystal field stabilization energy, minus 2.0 1.2 minus 0.8 delta O. So this is the way you calculate the crystal field stabilization energies of D1 to D10 configurations at two types of ligands and strong field and weak field. So what is the strong field and weak field ligand? What is the strong field and weak field ligand?
41.
So depending upon the division of the d orbital splitting, your ligands are divided into three categories. The three categories is, I will be directly write down. Then the carbonyl ligand and cyano ligand is present on the right hand side only. Then phenyl, then nitro, then ethylene diamine and ammonia and thiocyanate, hydroxo, fluoro and chloro and bromo. So this arrangement of ligands according to the splitting of d orbitals are called spectrochemical series. It will be divided into three parts only. So these ligands, left side ligands are called strong field ligands only, and these right side ligands are called weak field ligands, and the middle ligands are called intermediate ligands. So sir, what is the strong field, what is the weak field, what is the intermediate ligand? Chudama, strong field ligands means these type of ligands are present in any complex with any oxidation state of the metal atom. The greater division of the splitting is possible, the type of ligands are called strong field ligands. Maximum energy difference is present in the splitted orbitals only. If the carbonyl ligand is present, cyano ligand is present, and phenyl ligand and nitro ligand, these ligands are present in the complex, greater division of the splitting is possible, that type of complexes are called strong field, that type of ligands are called strong field ligands. Any metal atom, any oxidation state. Right hand side ligands are called weak field ligands, and why these ligands are called weak field? Any metal atom, any oxidation state, if these ligands are bonded, they will be gives rise to less division of the splitting. Less energy difference is present in between the splitted orbitals, that ligands are called weak field ligands. Maximum energy difference is present in strong field ligands, and less splitting of energy is present, that ligands are called weak field ligand. Your aqua ligand is also weak field ligand, and so what about the intermediate ligands? Depending upon the metal atom oxidation state, they will be acting as a strong field and weak field. The type of ligands are called intermediate ligands. For example, cobalt at +2 oxidation state is combined with 6 ammonia ligands, gives rise to hexaamine cobalt 2 complex, and at this situation your ammonia ligand is acting as a weak field ligand. Weak field ligand అంటే the d orbital electrons, cobalt d orbital electrons are enters to the splitted orbitals according to the Hund's rule. The same ammonia ligands are combined with cobalt +3 ion, it will be gives rise to hexaamine cobalt complex, and your ammonia ligand is acting as a strong field. Same ligand with cobalt metal atom with different oxidation states. You know, same metal atom at any oxidation state, they will be acting as a strong field ligand. Same metal atom with any oxidation state, they will be acting as a weak field ligand, and less division of the splitting is possible. More division of the splitting is possible. The ligands are called strong field ligands, and less division of the splitting is possible. That is called weak field ligand. But depending upon the metal atom oxidation state, the ligand nature is changes. The ligand nature is changes. The type of ligands are called intermediate ligands. Best example is your ammonia is the best example. Ammonia at +2 oxidation state, cobalt +2 oxidation state, they will be acting as a weak field ligand, and the same ammonia at +4 oxidation, +3 oxidation state of the cobalt, they will be acting as a strong field ligand. So this is the arrangement of ligands according to the division of the splitting. That arrangement is called spectrochemical series. This series of arrangement is called spectrochemical series. Okay, thank you.